Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I am your host here, Chantele Francis, with Phil. How are you today, Phil?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Long time no see.
I know it feels like ages and ages and ages. I'm so happy to have you here and have Jonathan seeming to be diving for your hair.
Yes, he's winning another challenge, the Phil hairstyle challenge.
Oh, that could be. Maybe he wouldn't be so good at that one. You never know. Seems to only be able to do things with brute strength. So we'll see. Well, if this is your first time here in Reality Realness, welcome. Please do us a big favor and subscribe. It's the best way that you can help the channel, and it builds a community, and you guys can chat with us, and we'll have a fun old good time. So we didn't talk to you last week, Phil, but Survivor happened last week, and that tribal council was a doozy. I'm not really that big of a fan of twists and stuff like that. And I was last season, I was kind of mad about all the things that were going on. So, what did you think about how things went down last week? So to summarize, so you can remember, like, how did you feel about Chanel's decision at Shipwheel Island? And then how did you feel about how the tribal council went down?
All right. Well, okay. So I mean, this tribe is very interesting. The tribes this season are very interesting. Like, I'm not getting, maybe the Orange tribe is the only tribe that really seems to be coming together. There seems to be a lot of not cohesion, anti-cohesion on these tribes, right? So the fact that they went to Rocks this early is kind of shocking. Like, this is kind of like I don't remember them ever going to Rocks this early. I might be wrong, but I don't remember it.
And so that's all these mechanisms is because they want these rock draw moments, like they want. And so I personally found it very interesting, and like it was a shocking result. But I also felt that Jenny really got screwed here, because Jenny had her vote, and if people still had their vote, she wouldn't have been gone. And so it just kind of annoys me that, like, these new mechanics, like lose your vote for this, lose your vote for that, lose your vote for this, on such small tribes where it actually really matters a lot. So 2 people out of Jenny's alliance lost their vote, and she had hers, and then she was involved in a tie and wasn't able to save herself when she has a vote still. And so I found it really frustrating. It was obviously very exciting, and like it was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? Like, I wish that maybe Jenny could gift her vote to somebody, or I don't know, do something with it. But it was just kind of a letdown, even though it was an exciting tribal. I didn't love the result because it was just somebody that like that had their vote that couldn't vote, and then people that could vote didn't have a vote.
Yeah, I mean, I really was liking Jenny. I thought Jenny was going to be a good character. I enjoyed watching her. I actually, kind of funny, like thinking, like, because he's brought up the name Chanel, and I'm kind of like, I don't really have an opinion on Chanel. I haven't really gotten to know her much, and I know she's not high on my list of who I'm rooting for right now. Like, she just, I don't know. I'm not getting anything off of her, and every time we see her, I kind of feel like she's socially making bad choices on how she's playing. It was interesting. I mean, Daniel, like, we were made to believe that Daniel and Chanel were closer than I believe that they truly are at that moment. Like, I think they really were the two in the middle. And yeah, it was interesting to see Daniel figure it out about the voting in a way, and then go, well, what happens after Jenny goes? He did do the right move for himself for when they go, but he's played it completely wrong in the way that he's discussing it and talking about it. He just needs to talk to the 2 that are in power and just be like, us 3 are in power now. And now he's made a big mess out of it. So he's this episode, Daniel shot himself in the foot. So
Well, with that whole tribal council, I really found that they did have a plan that would have worked in play, because High was supposed to vote for Mike, and then they would have had the majority of the votes or whatever. It would have reconfigured a little bit differently.
Right.
So, like, they didn't expect to be in this position. They should have thought that it could be a potential. What bothered me a lot too is that before I was listening to some of Jenny's exit interviews, and she was saying that we told Chanel not to risk her vote. Don't risk your vote. And so I'm assuming that would be her, Daniel, and Mike all telling Chanel when she's going away, or maybe everybody, maybe it was on the mat still, like, don't risk your vote. It's not worth it. And so she went over to Shipwell Island with Omar, tells Omar that I really need to have my vote this tribal. And then she's like, well, actually, let me go risk my vote anyways, because he's going to think that I need an advantage. Like, no. You said you needed your vote.
And she shouldn't have done that. She did need her vote. Like, she really did. Like, big mistake there. And then, I think part of it also, Daniel was kind of like, why did she do this? I'm sure that played a bit into why he went a certain way, was probably frustration with,
I don't think I'm going to be able to give him that much credit. I think that he floundered, panicked, like he showed his whole hand with like, we all just agree that we're not going to Rocks. And it's like, okay, if someone's not going to go to Rocks, I'm going to go to Rocks.
No,
I would totally
not
say
that early.
You would call his bluff. You would call his bluff because he said that we would never go to Rocks. So that's what High did. High said, "Oh, you'll never go to Rocks?
Yeah,
I'll go to
Rocks." That's what High did. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is that
High made the right move? I'm not going to Rocks. Daniel actually, once that was done, and I actually believe High was not going to switch. He knew he was in the numbers minority on that tribe. He needed a change to happen.
Daniel gave him.
Daniel figured it out.
Yeah,
number-wise, he did.
No, but if Daniel hadn't said, can we all agree that we don't want to go to Rocks? We're not going to Rocks. I don't know if I would have dug his heels in and said, well, I'm willing to go to Rocks and I'm not changing my vote. Right. So then Daniel's like,
High seems pretty smart though. Like I think High is. I think he's a fan. Like he comes across as a fan to me. I think he gets the game. So I think he might have.
I think that he made the right decision. I think he followed his gut. He knew that he didn't want to. He felt that he shouldn't vote for Mike in the end. So that was him making that decision, pushing that tie, and being like, "Oh my God, where are all these votes? Like, why don't people have their votes?" And then when Daniel's saying that we're not going to Rocks, well, like I'm not switching. So if you don't want to go to Rocks, then you're going to have to vote with me. Yeah. So
the confusing thing was that like Daniel, on paper at least, looked good leaving that tribal council because he made 2 new friends and they saved each other and all that.
You thought he
he did. He made at that point he did. He's got the 2 that were. Oh no, he did, because High and what you call it, because they saved. He saved High.
But,
he did. I mean, there's a way of putting that.
But
together.
He completely threw everybody else under the bus. He was like calling out Chanel. I would never want to work with Daniel.
2.
You would want to work with Daniel after that. You'd be like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. At that point, I would have. But then he goes back to camp and he decides that he doesn't want to talk about it, and he lets them all throw him under the bus, which is stupid. He should be continuing. He was fine with throwing Chanel under the bus at Tribal. He should have kept going. He should have kept throwing her under the bus. Like,
no matter though, Daniel, High and Lydia thought that Daniel was with them 100% before that tribal council. So the fact that he didn't vote the way that he had said to them that he was going to vote already put some doubt in the minds of Lydia and High. But absolutely, they're going to want him to vote this way and to save Lydia. So I think that it was like, of course we're going to be working together now, but it's like, as soon as we have an opportunity to get you out, like maybe you'll be safe for one vote, but like, I don't think that we can trust you moving forward. So I think it was just like, I don't think that they felt good about Daniel at all. I think that they were happy that he saved them, but like, I don't think that they were like going to be putting all of their eggs in the Daniel basket, because it seems like he was going to crack them all.
Well, yeah. I mean,
We do have some.
I don't know. I didn't think Mike looked good voting that way. I don't think that Chanel looked good voting that way. And I think that
they didn't vote. What do you mean they didn't vote?
Played it better.
They didn't vote. They didn't vote.
No, but like they were part of the whole plan of getting rid of them, and so like you throw them under the bus because you've already thrown them under the bus at Tribal. You keep it going. You keep throwing.
But how can you prove that? He can't really prove that because easily they both of them didn't vote. So Daniel is the only one and Jenny's gone. Like they can say anything that they want and be like, we didn't vote, Daniel. We didn't, like, you were the one that voted. Like Jenny voted this particular way because you told her that's the way that she should be voting. And so I think they could easily pin everything on Daniel because two of the people didn't vote.
Yeah. And Mike doesn't have a vote. So I also don't think that Mike, until he has that vote back, he's not really, I don't know. He's not valuable.
Exactly. Hi, I am. Thank you for being here. Hi, Diva. Hello. Yes, your first live. How are you, Anthony? Thank you for being here. Whoop, whoop. Hello, the Hangout Room. All right. It could have went well if Chanel never risked her vote. Absolutely. It would have gone perfectly fine. To begin with, they knew that they needed the numbers. Absolutely. Like the whole big problem with this is the fact that Chanel made the bonehead of bonehead moves and risked her vote when she told Omar that she needed her vote. So if she hadn't said that to Omar and just been like, well, I think I need to risk my vote because I potentially need to gain more power because whatever, maybe he would have been like, ooh, she said she's going to risk her vote, so let me protect mine so that she can get the power. Maybe that if she said that, but she didn't at all. Hello. Hi, Glenda.
Everybody's on. Oh my God.
Yes. Chanel risking her vote was the wrong move. Absolutely. Hello, Danielle. Yep. So wrong. The writing was on the wall, and I don't understand what she was thinking. She did mess up that.
She was telling Omar. I'm gonna go. Like I need to vote, and then I don't know.
Yeah,
she thought she was playing a mind game.
Yeah, maybe she thought that he would read her mind and be like, actually, what I really meant to say was, I want you to give me the advantage.
Yeah.
So Danielle says, I'm so annoyed at the production still for showing Tori reading the Beware advantage. Absolutely. In the first episode, I knew she wasn't going home last night out of because of that. Yes, absolutely. We're going to get into that a little bit as well, which is for this Tribal and for, I guess it was the first episode Tribal, I think, where it was like, oh, there's zero tension because between the two people that were up to go home, because we saw her in the episode like preview reading the challenge. It wasn't even like it was a season preview. It was like,
no, that's from the old days of Survivor, right? That's old days of Survivor where they make those mistakes with showing us things that happen like early.
Hi, Hamza. They were lying to him. Who's I'm sorry, I'm behind. Hi is working with Mike now. Well, yeah. This is we're still. I hadn't talked to Phil yet, so we're still at the very beginning of this episode. I know even Tori in general. We're going to get more into Tori as well. So there was some miscommunication going on. Yeah. Well, I think that the communication was correct, but Chanel changed her mind as to what she thought that what she said meant. Is what I think. She thought that he would then automatically know that she needed the advantage. No, she said she needed her vote.
Yeah.
Not a Tory fan. I disagree. Daniel was the only one to vote. Exactly. I will never hire Daniel as a lawyer.
I agree with that for sure.
Tori entertains me because she is so clueless. Yeah, she's pretty. Well, what I like about Tori is that she fights to stay. I do like that, but she gets herself into a little bit of mess that she doesn't really need to. I wouldn't let Daniel be my public defender.
We need a villain. We need a Tori in it, but she has. I mean, I'll be shocked if she wins. I don't see that ever happening. Like she speaks her mind without a filter, and it's gonna bite her.
Absolutely. Hi, Les. So Les says, I don't remember a season with so many dumb players. Whoa. It seems like every week there are people making terrible choices this season. Well, I think it's because of these new twists and this new era. And I'm sure that production is like encouraging people to make big moves and, use these twists. And so I think it's just people not thinking things fully through and not wanting to miss an opportunity on a game like this. So yeah, it says beware on it, but like you really in a small tribe, you shouldn't be open that. Like even though your curiosity would kill you, but I don't think they will be able to do any of these things in season 43. You know what I mean?
Oh no, because it's all been seen now. Now they've got to set it up that they've got to keep changing things. So
absolutely, like it can't have a beware advantage again because nobody wants to lose their vote. No, it's the worst. I meant Hai and Lydia were lying to Daniel about being with them if they vote together. Oh yeah, at the end of the tribal, like they're like, absolutely, we're gonna be together. Sure, as long as you vote with us. Like, I mean,
I gotta say, 100%. I also do not see Lydia winning because Lydia was the target, was supposed to go home, and she didn't even talk this episode. Did she? Did she have a confessional at all?
No, she did not.
Like she is not winning. I don't think. Like
I mean, unless they're giving her an Erica edit.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Erica did.
So let's get back to the episode. So we start off with, Daniel coming back to the tribe. And like you said, he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about this tonight. Let's have a sleep on it and talk about it in the morning. I'm like, what? So you can have the time to think of what you're going to say and spin some reason while you completely turned on your allies or whatever. Like, no, babe. And so I did love that Chanel decided to out some information to exonerate her a little bit from what her wrongdoing was in the situation. And then I also love that Hai recognized like, oh, I was supposed to vote out Mike, but if that comes up, I better go and settle things with Mike right now because like I don't want him to think that I was coming for him. So let me go clear the air there. So I thought that was good on both Hai and Chanel to like get their side of the story out.
Yeah, I think Hai and Mike right now are looking like the smartest two on the tribe. And I think that I see them doing really well in this game. Again, I mean, I can't base anything on Lydia because what we've seen of her, I have no idea like how to say if she's going to do well. The other two are playing sloppy.
Oh God, everybody's playing sloppy on that tribe. It's pretty sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Les says, yeah, you're right. It's probably the twist. It's all Jeff's fault. It is all Jeff's fault. I mean, they want it to be this messy. They don't want these super like calculated, clean moves. Like they want to have tribals like that. They want people to maybe pull a rock draw. They want to see what happens. It never happened before. Like people don't have votes. Like so. They're loving it. I'm sure production loves how things are going. Entertaining, yes. If I was playing the game, I'd be pissed as heck. So pissed. So what did you think about Daniel thinking that Chanel was the one that turned on him by not admitting that there was a plan?
No, she looked shocked by what he was saying at Tribal Council. So I feel like I feel like he did some math in his head. Like, I mean, maybe I'm giving him a little bit more credit than people are. But I
have a theory, actually. Want to hear my theory quickly?
I'm like, go for it.
I think that you understand Daniel because he's also an Aries.
Possibly.
I'm like, this guy, no one's gonna forgive him for that move. And you're like, absolutely they will. I guess they will. They're on side. They're working together now. You're like, because you understand Daniel more than I do.
Let me say, I don't think that they'll forgive him now because I think he has messed it up after this episode. Like, I think his I don't want to talk about it, and then not defending himself, and like he really messed it up. I wasn't as upset with him last week at the Tribal Council because I was like, yeah, numbers wise, it makes sense. He's got to make a move because if it goes to rocks, he's in trouble. There's only 6 people and it would be down to 4. So he's got to make a move. And I really did not feel Hai I feel like Hai won that fight and was like, I'm not switching. So he needed to do something, but he needed to do it in a way where, because voting wise, Mike would not have a vote going back to camp. He needs to be in the numbers. So he needed these two to think he's on their side and Chanel is not on their side. So he turned on Chanel, in my opinion. That's what I saw happening. So I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that he's saying that. But again, I'm very
even
surprised
to us,
by how
though, in his confessional, he believes this.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just being an Aries and being too nice to him.
Daniel is gone next, unless they switch tribes. I don't know if they'll switch tribes. I feel like they're going to go kind of similar how they did to season 41, where it's like they have like a merge episode, but it's like not really a merge, but then it becomes a merge. I wouldn't be surprised. And that would be in 2 episodes. So I just feel like we'll have one more in these small tribes and then some sort of merge type thing. Because, that would be at 7 people gone. Yeah.
It's going fast.
Right? So fast.
It is.
So what happened next? So Hai was definitely wanting to mend the bridge with or fence with Mike, which I thought was a really great move. This like made me really like Hai, that even though he was, duped a little bit inside that particular tribal and he was trying to figure out what was going on, he still recognized that he needed to put in some work and not have a chip on his shoulder and go and settle things with Mike. So I thought that he really played his part of it really, really well. So I'm thumbs up for Hai. I think that he is so far the smartest person on this particular tribe, and has the best handle on the game personally. Yeah. That's what I think about Hai.
Do you think that do Hai and Lydia know why the other two didn't vote? Like, do you think that that's been revealed now to them?
Well, it would be obvious for Chanel, because Chanel went away to Shipville Island. Mike, I'm not sure. Chanel did say that Daniel told me that you didn't she say that you didn't have a vote? That you have an idol, or I don't know I can't remember exactly what
I don't know if she said the word idol in it. I know she said you didn't have a vote.
Okay, so
I would think that they would know by now, because they're all sort of turning on each other in that the group that knew. So I'm sure that info was getting out. So.
I think it also ended up being decently good for Chanel not having a vote, because then she can't be like, people can't be like, well, you did this. And it's like, I didn't have a vote. Right. I'm sorry. I didn't have a vote. And so she can't be blamed for that as much, because she didn't actually put anything into action. So I think that it ends up being lucky for her for the amount of blowback she's going to get for this particular tribal, because she didn't have the vote. But if she did have a vote, then they would be in the power with the numbers, and, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So there's that. So we get to the reward challenge, and this is for 10 decent sized fish that will be caught, that they just need to clean and cook. So when you say her decent size, like, why do you think that Jeff needed to use the term decent size to describe them? I'm just like, you could just say
why
fish.
You didn't say large,
medium size, like
what,
decent size.
Why did he have to say decent size? I guess to make it worthwhile. I guess maybe he thought, like, if you just said fish, people would be like, that's not a great reward. I don't know.
I was just kind of like, who cares, Jeff? Like,
Jeff.
So 10 decent sized fish is on the line here. So I do like when they go back to the original format and they have the reward challenge and then they have the immunity challenge. I'm not the biggest fan when they lump them both in together. I like seeing the tribes have to work together, and like I do think it builds bonds, or maybe creates reasons to vote people out. You know what I mean? And people that win these rewards, they bonded about something. So I don't like when they take that away from the game. So I was happy to see this here. So people sitting out are Roxroy and Chanel. So basically each person, I think there's 3 people on each. Yeah, it must be 3 that are playing. And then where's the 4th person?
And one down at the end. So there's 3 people that are tied in the ropes and 1 person that's waiting at the
just waiting.
The shooting.
Okay. So they basically have like a harness on attached to a rope that's been braided, or like, and so they had to unbraid the rope. And I thought this was a very creative challenge. I was like, this is interesting. Like, they definitely have had where you're attached to a rope and you have to go through an obstacle course, which they do have to do later on. But I really like that they had to work together to unbraid something in order for them to move their ropes along. So I thought that was a really fun challenge. Then after they had to go over and under, we could hear Roxroy telling people what to do. He would drive me nuts.
Oh yeah, no, he's not playing right. Bossy.
I mean, I can be bossy, but like, I know when to be quiet sometimes. Like, wow. So no surprise to anyone. Okay, so actually what they have to do is then when they get to the end of unbraiding, they have to like unhook or hook to a sled, pull this sled in. So Taku is in an early lead. Is yours from the reward or yeah?
Yes.
So
yeah, that's the sled part, I think. Throwing the ring to
hook the grappling hook to the sled, pull the sled in, and then they have to throw balls in a net. So they started with Marianne. Marianne goes first, seemingly gets the first ball in. Omar gets in on his second try. Like, I'm pretty impressed by how well they're doing, even before anybody in the other teams had finished unbraiding. I was like, wow, Taku is moving fast.
I mean, obviously, Jonathan got a lot of the attention for it, but I actually think that this tribe is a very strong tribe. Like, I don't think that it was 100% Jonathan. I do think, like, there was efforts by everybody that was on that tribe. They did well with the shooting, and they had you could see them when it was the knots and untying the rope and everything. They had a plan, and they were following the plan, and they were smart about it. And I mean, to be that far ahead, you can't just that part you can't do with one person. You have to be talking with everybody and doing it properly. So,
and everybody
I think that they did well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Taku tribe, Orange, they end up winning this reward. And we see a soundbite of Drea being like, oh, it's because he's on their team. Like, he won it for them. And I was like, okay. So they're pissed about, Goliath over there. And then Tori. So what did you think about Tori deciding to say that Jonathan is Goliath and like he's such a big, strong guy and like he's a really good person to have on your team? What do you think about calling him out?
I actually I don't think that it's going to affect Jonathan all that much, because I think, honestly, everybody's already got that target on Jonathan. And I don't think that anybody is listening to Tori and going, I never thought about that before. Like, they are noticing Jonathan. But what it did tell is that I'm sure some of the people were like, wow, Tori has the balls to call that out. And Tori's got kind of an attitude. I think, like, Tori actually heard saying it out loud. That, I mean,
terrible.
We all know Tori's in trouble anyways, but that's not good. I think that didn't help her. So,
at all. I mean, I don't know why she felt that she needed to say that. So, what did you think then? So, is it here? Was it here when Jonathan talks about their tribe, or was that at the immunity?
No, it was. So they went back to camp, and I think it was Lindsay. Lindsay had sort of said, how they were talking about you at the thing.
Oh, no. Okay, no. So then it happens. What I'm talking about, it happens at immunity. So Jeff, Jeff undersold the fish, apparently. The fish were like amazing. They had different types of fish. There was a parrot fish, I believe, that Jonathan identified.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay wants to eat an eyeball. Would you eat an eyeball?
Oh, wait. I know what you're talking about. And yes, that did happen at the reward challenge, about Jeff saying how connected they are and everything. And now that was a mistake. The way
you think it was a mistake? I don't think it was a big deal.
I think it could be seen as a mistake if somebody is smart on one of the other two tribes when a merge happens and says, hey, let's do blue and green together against orange. if Orange continues this strong dominating challenges thing, they may look at Orange Tribe and go, we need to work together to get Orange out. That's my feeling.
I was kind of thinking that, like, they don't even, it doesn't need to be true necessarily, you know, like if say it's kind of like if Roxroy, everybody hates Roxroy, but like everybody asks like, oh, so how's your team? We're doing great, we're doing amazing, and then you'd be like, oh my god, actually our team is really dysfunctional, we're just really lucky, you know what I mean? Like I do think that you could definitely play it off later. It's like we're just saying this for appearances. I didn't think it was as bad,
or to keep Jonathan happy, right? Like maybe Jonathan's like, coach, you know, we're a team and all.
Exactly, like everybody's rolling their eyes like, yeah, we're a team, thanks for being on it, Jonathan, and making us win. So yes, I personally didn't think it was a big deal. I could see what you're saying, that maybe it makes him look like a cohesive unit, but Jonathan's done first boot merge time, like unless he wins that immunity idol. So
yeah,
and then it's going to dismantle them.
I don't know why, because like honestly, I don't usually like this character, this Aussie, like Malcolm, whatever character. I don't know if it was his story or what it was, but I feel like he's really doing it for his team. Like he has an actual like heart and all this, and I'm like, and I do think he gets the game, and because he was talking about, oh, you know, like now I've got a target on me and all of this, but I don't know, I like this guy. I don't usually like get excited about this player, this archetype that we usually have, and I don't know, I'm just like,
none of us liked it.
I think he's a really interesting character. I don't know, and I liked his story. I thought his story was great.
So I am says, God, Jonathan's hair is so distracting. It makes me itch a little because of the appropriation. I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of dreads on any other person than a black man. That's a dreadlock. That's a Rasta. So yes, I do understand the appropriation, but I also can understand people not realizing that that's not the greatest thing. But I do agree with you. As long as he is helping Marianne stay fed by winning these challenges, I will ignore. Yes, I mean, I'm not super offended by Jonathan for his hair choice. It's probably a little bit of ignorance, and yeah, I think it's just ignorance. So he's okay. I'll let it slide. Yes, they were big fish. You know, they were decent size. They were big fish.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say yes to eating an eyeball or no?
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem. I've done that.
Really? I think I might have eaten an eyeball, but I don't like the pop type thing. It's so gross. I want to give Jonathan a haircut. We all do. He'll get one for the finale.
I do too. I think actually he'd look nice with short hair too.
Yeah, his hairstyle is definitely an interesting choice. Yeah, it's a choice. Does anyone here thinks that he kind of looks like Uncle Jesse from Full House? John Stamos?
John Stamos. Well, I'm gonna have to look at some photos of him.
Do you mean maybe not Uncle Jesse, maybe the other one, David Coolidge or whatever?
Coulier?
I don't know if I think that he looks like. I'm gonna have to pull up a side by side. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, put a side by side. Maybe it's like in the eyes or something. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I am says that I am a Taku tribe supremacist at this point. I mean, they are my favorite tribe. I love Omar a lot.
Mine too.
I love Mary Ann. I haven't seen that much from Lindsay, but I do like her seemingly so far. Yeah. And as we talked about, like we surprisingly like Jonathan as well. So when Tori finds her advantage, will Mike still be silent?
Well,
yeah. Well, if Tori says hers, like even if Marianne doesn't start off saying, if Tori does say hers, I think Mike will. Well, he said that he wanted to keep it for getting to the merge. He might say it because he wants his vote back. It's not good sitting at tribal being without numbers and not having a vote.
Yeah, and with all this drama that's been going on, and Mike and I mean, because Mike did tell Daniel all about this stuff before, and there was like different plans coming out of what to do. Yeah, just say it. Just say it.
Just please. I can't
put Marianne out of her misery. Put Marianne out of her misery.
Oh my God!
Don't let her keep saying that.
That phrase is so bad. So yeah, we do get a little bit of the story of Jonathan and how his father kind of always wanted him to excel and made him do pull-ups when he was like 3, and definitely always wanted to be the best of the best. Have you ever watched Endurance?
Yes, I used to like watching Endurance.
So did you remember him from it, or did you not see his season? I can't remember. I think you said
that was a little bit.
Season.
I think I watched like the first couple. I'm a little bit older, so I was like, I wasn't watching all of them, but I did like reality TV, so I did. But I'm kind of remembering. I think he was like either on the last one or the one before the last one. But I think even there he was sort of a comp beast, and they were worried about him doing well in competitions. So, yeah.
Hi, Jessica. Jessica says, I agree, Phil. I don't know why Drea said that Jonathan did it all. And Tori complaining. Complaining. No, they are just better team who work well together. Yes, don't down the other players. Absolutely. Like, I think that they don't even realize how well that these people like each other and work well together and listen to each other. And, Tori's team is the hottest of messes, and the other team isn't that far off. So
no, they're both messes, and they both said it. Like, I mean, we've seen the Green Tribe keep going on about how they're pairs, and we're not all together. And then the Blue Tribe, even at Tribal this time, they were like, something's not right with our tribe. We haven't come together. It's like, well, you can tell because the Orange Tribe has come together.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Taj. So, Chantele, did you see people on Twitter talk about Jonathan going against Fessy in a hall brawl? Yes, give me that, please. I have not seen that. So Fessy, obviously from Big Brother 20.
Yeah. He's on the challenge now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the challenge, but like he's considered to be like a big guy because he was a D1 athlete. He's like 6'4", and so people are always like, he's always talking about like how good of a player he is because he's so strong and people are afraid of him. But there's just not many people that have the size that he has, and they're willing to like run through somebody because that's what he was trained to do as a football player. And so I would love to see him go toe to toe with somebody that is willing to run through walls, So I would love to see that. Bring it. Maybe next season on the challenge.
Is he like good at the challenge? I guess good at the challenges on the challenge. Because he wasn't that good at Big Brother.
He's not good, but he has numbers. So he has himself, Josh, Casey, Amber, and so that grouping of people, and then Casey's dating this girl Nani, who's been on the challenge for like, since 2010. I think 2011 was her season of The Real World. So she's done like 12 seasons. Wow. So they're kind of insulated where they haven't had to go down and prove themselves that many times. So Fessy's made it to the finals 2 of the 3 seasons that he was on. But that's purely because he won a hall brawl against somebody, and then he run like a pole wrestling against a guy that only has one hand. So like it was just like he only has done brute strength stuff. I haven't seen him excel in anything else other than a hall brawl. So hall brawl is when you basically 2 people are in like a hallway and they run towards each other and go through and like hit like a bell on the other side. And so that's the type of competition where you want to go against somebody that's like, well, if you're bigger, you want to go against someone smaller, but we want to see a matchup where they're both big and they're going to like actually battle it out. So
and explode when they hit.
Yeah, exactly. Explode when they hit. So yes, I would love to see that. I have not seen people talking about this, but I'm here for it. Jonathan would beat Fessy. I think so too. I think Fessy is a little bit of a puss, to be fair. I hope he does the challenge, the second season of the challenge, or like even the regular challenge, and go against Fessy. I wouldn't mind that. His hair looks nasty. Oh, leave the poor guy. My strategy is simple. You can't vote, you get voted out. Absolutely. So I would be worried if I were Mike. Fessy's not good at anything in general. Case closed. Okay, case closed. What was I going to say about the voting? If you can't vote, vote out. Oh, my question is, so if Mike can't vote, would he be able to play his shot in the dark? Or would he have needed to have a vote to be able to use that?
Yeah, because you have to give up the vote, right? You have to give up your vote for it. So I would think no, right? He wouldn't be able to do that.
That's terrible. Get your vote back, Mike.
Yeah. Wow.
It's bad. So over at the Ika tribe, Blue tribe, Roxroy thinks that he's helping people out, but really he's just a nagging voice in people's ears. So Romeo's making the fire, and Roxroy has to be telling him step by step on what he should and shouldn't be doing. I'm not really great with micromanagers telling me what to do. Like, you can give me an idea, or if I ask you, I'm welcome for you to show me how to do something, but to have someone just chirping in my ear, I'd be terribly irritated. And I was impressed that Romeo didn't let it faze him, even though it was driving him crazy.
Yeah, that's nothing but annoying to have somebody telling you what to do while they don't do any. Like, they're not doing
Just
stuff.
Sitting there watching you.
You're a small tribe. If you've got something you want to do it, because you're all needing to help each other. Don't just stand there and bark orders.
So yeah, Rox is obnoxious, but it's funny from behind the scenes. Yeah, as long as I'm not playing with him, like, it's hilarious. But if I was on that tribe with him, I'd be like, yeah, you're a little bit of a tyrant. I can't hear you. I don't want to listen to you anymore. I'd have to vote you out because you're so annoying. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, he's going to have to turn up the nice scale, because, like, how's he going to win if he gets to the end? Like, who's going to reward him for that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. So Swati wants to vote out Drea. We saw a little bit of this when Drea was trying to work with Swati and Tori, saying that I have the extra vote. And then immediately it seems Swati was like, let's vote Drea out. And I was like, she just brought you in an alliance. Like, you immediately want to vote her out? I'm like, that might be a little bit premature, but we'll see how this goes down. And Swati mentions that Tori is her biggest ally. And so I'm like, that's a pretty volatile ally to have, but okay, that's who you want to work with. Amazing. So Tori decides to take it upon herself to put this plan of get rid of Drea in action. So she decides to go and start making up with Roxroy. And Tori does not like Roxroy at all. Can't stand him. Doesn't necessarily want to vote Drea out, but wants to work with Swati. So she's going to try to mend her relationship with Roxroy and tell Roxroy about Drea's extra vote. And Roxroy didn't know about this. So Roxroy then immediately goes and tells Drea that Tori says that she has an extra vote and wants to vote her out. What happened? Where'd you go?
Sorry. I'm just noticing that my background is like going crazy, so I'm going to try and fix it. But there we go.
Oh, I was like, is the dog? I don't know.
Okay. No.
Is it the green screen moving?
There we go. Don't worry about it. It's driving me crazy.
Okay, no problem.
I tried my hardest.
Jonathan's hair is driving you crazy.
Yes. I mean, what was going on with this tribe? Like, was everybody a target except for maybe Romeo? I think everybody at one point was somebody's target.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
That's crazy.
So I did watch an exit interview with Swati, and she said that we didn't really get to see that Drea was a little bit more bossy than we kind of witnessed, and kind of was like always dictating what to do. And so, and changing your mind and targeting this person, let's target that person. And so Swati was just kind of getting tired of being told what to do and kind of wanted to shift the power dynamic in the tribe. So we didn't really get to see that fully, but there was a little bit more behind her wanting to switch. It wasn't just like an immediate thing. Drea was rubbing her the wrong way a little bit. But I think this is a little bit of I'm 20 and don't really want to be told what to do, kind of, or 19 kind of energy. And so she may have overplayed her hand, just saying.
Yeah.
So
I think actually the one mistake that Swati really made was letting Tori be the one to go talk to Roxroy. Like, if they really wanted Roxroy, Swati should have talked to Roxroy, because they already sort of seem to have, or they seem to be closer, and they seem to have more of a chance of having a real bond because of the way that they were talking the last couple episodes. To put the power in Tori's hands, I mean, Tori doesn't.
I don't know if Swati knew that Tori was going to do that, though. Maybe like just go and like try to make friends with Rocksroy, but don't try to put the plan into action. Even though that's kind of what Swati wanted to happen, in the sense he wanted to plant seeds and didn't want to actually be the one that pushed it forward. But I don't think that she wanted Tori necessarily to be pushing it forward, because she doesn't have a good relationship with Rocksroy. That just would be silly. Very silly.
Yeah.
You need to build a relationship with somebody in order for them to trust you, in order to say something like this. Like, do you have a better relationship with Rocksroy than Drea does? No, probably not.
Right.
So that was apparent. And so that pretty much blew up Tori's game a little bit right then. So then we're going to go over to the immunity challenge, where we have our girl Marianne saying that phrase. It would be nice if her phrase was a little bit more normal, but I'm already tired of hearing about the bunny rabbit in the mailbox. That classic tale of the bunny rabbit having dinner in the mailbox.
I mean, this is the one twist that can. I don't see how they can ever bring this back, because, like, now that people have seen this, and so I don't know. Was it worth it? Was it enjoyable for the last 2 episodes? Did it really make that much of an impact? I don't know. It seems. I don't know. This seems like a Jeff idea. This does feel like a Jeff.
So he could just be like,
I've got an idea.
Like, he could be like, okay, what are you saying, Marianne? Okay, you wild girl, you. Like, he just wants to have that gif. GIF, whatever it is. So she says the phrase. I do find it funny that she goes off a little bit in her confessional, being like, what, are these guys have not found their idols yet? Like, what are they doing? Like, I keep on having to say this stupid phrase. So I need to know, and nobody seems to know, did they have to say the phrase or not? Because why does Mike choose not to say the phrase, and Marianne felt as though she had to say the phrase?
Well, I think Marianne wants the idol, right? Like, she's thinking about it as, I don't think that group has come together with this whole idea of how the different ways to work. I think Mike wants to wait and not put any target on him until he knows both the other people have said their things, and that's the smart thing to do. Like, because otherwise, if he says his, at least one other tribe knows he's got that power, because they also have found the clue. So, yeah, I mean, it's smart, but we know that technically right now nobody on the blue tribe has found it yet. That's kind of shocking. Well,
we know that it's going to happen soon.
It's going to happen. But, like, we do see them walking around the woods. And, I mean, Dre has been pretty good at finding things.
Unless it's been found and they haven't showed us the clip.
And they haven't showed it. Maybe.
No, because Tori's had a vote, though. So that's not true.
Yeah. So I don't think it's been found.
Okay, so for this immunity challenge, it's another one where they're tethered to a boat this time. So there's 2 people tethered to a boat, 2 people inside the boat, and then everybody, each tribe had people sitting out. So Romeo sat out and Daniel sat out, and basically, like, we got Hai and Mike swimming, pulling the boat. Obviously, we have Jonathan and poor Marianne that just was being, like, swept away. Like, Jonathan was, like, swimming so hard that Marianne was almost overtaken by the boat. And who was the other duo? I didn't even write it down. But pretty difficult challenge to be pulling the boat. And then the people on the boat had to go up, run, jump, grab a set of keys, and jump into the water. We saw that Lydia had a trouble doing that. So it seemed like it was... her height was kind of hurting her here, because she wasn't able to jump high enough to be able to get the keys. Don't they measure those things, Phil? It looked like there was nothing that she could do to be able to get it.
Yeah. Was she did anybody else try on her tribe?
Yeah, so she did it twice, and then Chanel went back a second time and got it for her.
We got it, right.
Which maybe was like not part of the rules, but maybe they decided to that since she already tried it twice and couldn't get it, like they allowed somebody to go a second time on their tribe, because like That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I do think on Winners at War, though, they were allowed to switch it up. I think that it was only, though, that only one could go up at a time. But I do kind of remember them doing it. I think, yeah, that sucks. They struggled on that part. So.
I thought it was really sweet, though. I don't know if you caught it, but Mike and Hai, after they finished all the boat part, they kind of pulled himself up onto the deck. They're just like, Mike's like, oh, I love you, man. I love you. I love you. Because, like, that must have been very hard, and they did it together. And so I love that bonding moment between the two of them. So what happened at the end of that? Was it a puzzle? Oh, yeah, it was a puzzle. The fish puzzle.
The fish puzzle. So
classic puzzle. Taku was pretty much ahead from most of it because they got there quite quickly, and then so they won immunity pretty easily, and then it was between Ika and Vati, and it seemed like Ika could get it done, but then the bottom kept on falling off. Swati and Drea weren't working very well together, it seemed. Lydia and Chanel also weren't working that well together, but they were able to get ahead of the Blue Tribe and pulled a win out of their butts. They ended up winning. So Lydia has great puzzles, which is good for her.
Yeah. No, I was surprised because they really seemed to be far behind. I was like, ooh, that's a good comeback. So Blue really tanked on that puzzle.
Really tanked.
Really tanked.
Yeah. So that means that Ika Tribe is going to be going to Tribal Council, unfortunately. So at Ika, they're talking about, who said this? Tori can't be trusted. She can't keep a secret. Was that for Tori? Nobody can really keep a secret. Nobody actually can be trusted.
I remember Roxroy said that. Yeah,
that makes sense. And it's true, but this is the thing that Tori actually, she's playing badly because other people are playing really badly as well. Like, she had no intentions of flipping Andrea, but she thinks that she's working with Swati and wants to support Swati in what she's doing. And so then all of a sudden, like, Swati throws her under the bus. Like, it just like sends a little domino effect, spiral downward, because like Tori was supporting Swati, but then it all backfired. So I think that if she was playing with maybe some other people, that Tori might be led in the right direction, or maybe not in such a frantic direction. But poor girl, she's a mess.
I mean, this is my least favorite tribe of the three tribes. I would hate to be on this tribe. Definitely not feeling this. Tori is an interesting character to watch. I don't think that living with her is something that I would be looking forward to doing. I don't know. I love the montage of Swati's you're my number one. You're my number one.
Yeah, I love that. But that's so bad. I was talking with Taryn yesterday for the Survivor Stock Watch, and we're just going on and on about the fact that like she could do that. It's fine to make final twos with a bunch of people, but say the exact same thing, like you're my number one. You're my number one. And it's like people can feel as though the person that gives that information is telling the truth, especially with multiple people saying the exact same phrase. So then it's going to validate everything else that everybody has said, because it's going to make her look like she wasn't being genuine to them. So poor girl. Like, I definitely think that she had good intentions. I love the fight that she had. I love that she was trying to do things, make things happen, but she was a little bit messy, a little bit.
Yeah, I do think she might be good if she came back
10 years
down the road. Like, I think that if she's had a little bit more life experience, she might be a really strong player. Like, she seemed like she has a good head about her, but I just feel like there was some mistakes that maybe life would teach her.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Don't tell us the people the same thing, because if they decide to confer, you're going to be in deep doo-doo. So Romeo, Tori, and Rhea are all talking about Swati, and this is a really good for Tori to be like, oh my god, I got duped by Swati as well. And so they kind of have a common enemy now that they can confirm has been playing all of them. And so it would make sense now, like if Tori tells them like, hey, like she wanted to come for you, she's the one that told, like she said that she wanted to put that into action, and so now Tori's going to look like she's telling the truth because the connection that she has with Swati isn't real anymore because she has the same connection with everybody. So poor girl, Swati just really stabbed herself in the foot. So Swati is doing some damage control, and Roxroy absolutely does not want to lose Swati. He wants Tori gone. I do understand that, but it's too difficult for Swati, I think, to get out of this mess for the fact that she told those 3 people the same thing, and they figured it out. If that never came to light, I think that she would have stayed.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I think Romeo in some ways pulled the trigger, but I do think that Dre made that sorry, Drea made that because I think she was hurt that Swati didn't want to do the female thing with her, because I think she wanted that to actually be, or of it, I think she wanted to work with Swati at least, and you know she didn't do that. So
don't worry, Danielle, we will be almost finished here, just like a couple more minutes. We're just at the tribal, and then we're popping over to watch Big Brother as well, so don't you worry. Nice. Thank you for being here. Jessica says, though, how do you guys feel about Jeff when he calls out the players during a challenge for being dominant or bad? He puts targets on players. If people notice on their own, then fine, but not because of Jeff. Yeah, he's always kind of done that, though. So I think it's part of a Jeffism. Like, you know, you see that like last season he did that to Heather. Like he loves calling out like the Joey Amazing. Like, I don't know. It's always been something that he does.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of hated, and I'm actually noticing this with the Survivor Australia a lot this season, sort of the hypocrisy of when a man is dominant, they get the last name, way to go, boo, woohoo, and when a female is only like 2 steps behind the rest of the tribe and running up a hill, for some reason they're called out and they're being like, oh, they're slowing the team down. And it almost always seems to go that way when it's shown on TV. So I don't know. And look at this. Woo! All right. And that's exactly how I feel. I feel, you know, I will always say that the worst time I've ever seen Jeff do this was in Survivor Philippines with Katie. If you watch that episode with Katie Goes in that tribal, Katie was not struggling that much, and Jeff was just ripping her apart in that challenge, and I did not understand why that was happening. And yeah, like we hadn't seen Katie for a bit, so I don't know if Jeff had an issue with Katie in real life or something, and they didn't want her on the show, but it just felt totally unwarranted. So yeah, I'm somebody who doesn't like when Jeff gets involved. I let the players figure all that stuff out, Jeff. I don't know.
Well, I think he's trying to create these moments, right? So, hi, Adam. Thanks for your comment. So Jeff also loves praising big guys while throwing older women under the bus. Well, but he did get that moment from Cirie, right? Like he's like, oh my God, that was the moment. Like she was struggling, and then now that she made the jump. Like, you know, like he wants that to happen whenever he can. So it's annoying. Absolutely, I agree with everybody. Like, I wish that the players could figure it out, but I also like, you kind of got to take that with the game of Survivor with Jeff Probst. Like that's just part of the game that you have to overcome.
I would say Cirie is a rarity, and I know he knows that the fans love Cirie, that I don't think he'd get away with it as much as, let's say, like a Jillian Larson when he looks at her on like the very first episode and goes, well, what are you doing here? Like, you know, well, what can she do? She's in her 60s. Like, I mean, what could this woman do? And you're getting mad at her because she's not like running. I'm like, come on. She's got a different game to play.
So let's just close out this episode. So at Tribal Council, we get the title of the episode, What's the Vibe of the Tribe? A long pause from Drea. Long pause that, like, I actually got uncomfortable with the length of that pause. I was like, what is she gonna say? Like, why the pause so long?
Yeah.
It's long as pause.
Yeah, like it was basic. It felt like she was saying, well, I really don't like anybody.
How do I say that I hate this tribe and I wish that I was on any other tribe this season? And can we have a merge soon because I hate these people? Like, how can I say that nicely?
Wonderful.
So they do end up having the typical tribal chats. Everybody goes up and does all of their voting. We come back. Swati does play her shot in the dark and not safe. Who cares about this shot in the dark? You know what I mean?
It's boring. It's boring. The scroll is boring too. Why don't they come up with? I mean, it's 1 in 6. Why don't they come up and do something with the dice? Like, make it interesting. Let's
make them roll the dice right there, like a giant, like a big dice, a big
like
one.
Have 5 skulls and 1 green like fire or red fire or something on one of them. Like, that would be more dramatic than handing a scroll and going, like, that's
actually boring. That would be really fun if it was kind of like the twist that Sean did last season, where it was the 3 boxes, but if there was 6 boxes and just one of them has a safety in it, and you just pick the box, and then at the end Jeff shows which one it is. Like,
or have stuff and like they get eliminated and they stay there at tribal, all the other ones, and so eventually somebody's gonna find that like or spin away. Well, don't say that to Chantele.
Oh my god, I'm sure you heard about my wheel spin debacle. Oh my god, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I got wheeled out in Phil's game, but whatever happened with the mechanics of the site that he was using, that instead of being like super fast and normal, it took literally 5 minutes for this wheel to stop spinning, and it was just going slowly for like a full 2 minutes, and it landed on me, and I was out of the game. So no wheel spins.
Well. And you were doing so well.
I was definitely in a good spot.
Yeah.
Oh well. So no, not safe, and Swati does end up getting the majority of the votes. So Tori, Drea, and Hai all vote out Swati. Obviously, Roxroy voted out Tori. So fortunately, Swati leaves the game. Now, she kind of misremembered some facts, saying that Boston Rob got voted out 4th on his first season. Not true.
And what was the other thing she said? But then he came back for All Stars, so maybe I'll come back and win. And I'm like, well, he didn't win All Stars either.
He did not come back and win All Stars. He came 2nd. He won a wife and a car, but he did not win All Stars.
Maybe she'll find a husband. Maybe she should say that. Maybe I'll get married.
So I was like, and then I was like, Rob's sister Nina. No, he was 3rd his first season. Was he out 4th in his in All Stars?
Yeah, he was voted out 4th in
so maybe it was a mix-up of facts.
Maybe.
Definitely big mixeroo.
I am surprised though. I mean, I get why Swati went, but I kind of like don't know if that was the smart move for the tribe, because I do kind of feel like Tori's really making it clear that there's something. Tori's not going to work with this tribe. Like,
I think she'll work with Drea. I do think she will.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, but there's something about her that I'm like, she's not able to filter her thoughts, and she like, I don't know. I think she's somebody who might be trouble for you. She could be trouble for the tribe.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this comment. So the Hangout Room says, LOL, what's next? Guess what's in the box and guess the price? Nah, guys.
I've got something in my hand. Is it bigger than a bread box?
Like, it's terrible. But like, you're right. It's not The Price is Right. It's not a game show in that sense. I'm just the scroll sucks. The scroll sucks. Like, I like dice roll fun. A roll of a die actually is fun. So getting a giant die and like having to like, I don't know, close your eyes and roll it, like that would be kind of fun. But like this is like dinky little scroll that's given to Jeff that says not safe is not compelling at all. One thing I do want to add, just before we say good evening, is Tori was kind of fighting for her life. She was really bringing in interesting points about recognizing the projection that was happening with Swati, and like Swati was playing like somebody that was in the wrong. Tori was doing a pretty good job of staying calm, pointing out certain things that was being said without it look like she was being on the defensive. And Swati, in my opinion, at that tribal looked like she was trying to save herself, even though she was in the wrong. So I think the tribe, like they were already deciding to vote her out, but I think that how she played the tribal was kind of the nail in her coffin, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Well, is there anything else about this episode? Oh, actually, there's something I want to say. What did you think about Roxroy and the moment where he's talking about Swati? You know, she was shy and didn't want to stand up for herself. And then now she's asserting herself at tribal. And then Swati just jumps on that fact, though, and it's like, yeah, like I'm really trying. That was smart on her part to like really go with that. But what do you think about Roxroy really leaning into the father figure role with Swati?
I think that message was more to try and convince people to go his way and vote Tory. I mean, it's nice, but he doesn't really know her. Like, you only know each other for a certain amount of time here. So I don't know. I feel like he might have been left in the dark of what was actually going to happen. I don't know. I don't know if he knew, because I think he's one of those players that you have to be careful.
His way or the highway. Like, he won't change his mind. Yeah, I can see that. So the Hangar says, the pause made me think that the tribal was going to be fire. Really, I was underwhelmed. Oh, fire isn't like amazing, not like go to fire. I didn't understand. I just got uncomfortable with that silence. I was like, what's coming? Yeah. So maybe I thought it was going to be a little more explosive or something, but that pause was intense. It was.
I think the sign to all of them on that tribe, though, is soon as you merge, this isn't a strong group. Like, so say this has been great, but I've got to go find somebody else to go with.
Like nice to meet you. I'm out of here. Okay, I'm gonna go find some other people that I'll be on the bottom of their group, but I don't want to work with.
Jonathan looks fun. Maybe I'll go hang out with Jonathan.
Taku, taking applications. So is there anything else that you would like to mention about this episode before we go and jump on and watch Big Brother Canada?
No, we got to get on that. 10 minutes in here. We got to get on there.
Well, I know. It's recorded, so it can rewind. Can you rewind when you watch, or you can't rewind?
I do watch live on the app, but I can watch them. I'll watch the beginning part later. So it's all good. Okay, sorry. But I don't really have anything. I don't have much.
Okay, fine. Well, thank you. Do you have anything going on with your games, good time games? Do you want to share the people?
No, but follow Good Time Games with Adam and Phil. And if you want to have a game, reach out to us.
Spin wheel
There's
guy.
Adam. There's spin a wheel. All sorts of wheel games for your fun, Chantele, if you want to. But yeah, no, and just follow us on Facebook, like us, and we do occasional games open to the public as well, or you can do a private one with your friends, whatever you want to do. Reach out to us.
Do it. It's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. So I recommend highly, highly, highly. And you guys know the drill, but we'll just do it one more time to subscribe to the channel, be part of the people chatting in the chat with us, because we love all of them. And it really makes these lives a lot of fun. I do enjoy getting everybody's perspective, even if Phil doesn't agree with me. I
know it. What a fiery episode we had tonight, Chantele. We didn't agree on everything. I love talking to you about this stuff, and I love that we can.
No, I know. Me too. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I started the channel was because I just didn't know very many people that watch reality TV. So I'm obsessed, and I'm happy that you're obsessed and that you like talking about it with me. So Thank you for being here. Thank everybody in the chat for being here for the ride as well. If you're watching later, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment on Who do you think from each tribe would be gone next if they were going to tribal? So who from Ika do you think is out next, or just like, on the periphery? Who from Taku and who from Vati are in the worst position right now? So let us know what you think, and we can continue this conversation in the comments. Love everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.